Good afternoon and welcome to News9. I'm Nolan Pinto. Now, a special Air India plane which took off from Erbil in Kurdistan with the nurses has reached Kochi International Airport. It was an emotional homecoming for the nurses after a terrifying ordeal in Iraq. The nurses had been forcibly taken from Tikrit to ISIS's stronghold Mosul, sparking fear that they had been kidnapped. The special Air India plane reached Erbil in Kurdistan late Friday evening to bring back the nurses who are from Kerala. Now, the flight, after making a brief stopover at Mumbai for refuel, has landed in Kochi, and there you can see the nurses actually coming out there, being welcomed by a large number of not only people from the government officials but also the Chief Minister of Kerala, Umman Chandi. Now, this plane has also brought back over 100 other Indians who were trapped in the war-torn country. Now, Chief Minister Umman Chandi thanked Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj for her help in securing the nurses' release. Many have also credited the diplomatic coup to Ms. Swaraj, who officials said worked day and night to tackle the crisis. Now, all these nurses were working at a hospital in Tikrit, the birthplace of former President Saddam Hussein, which has seen fierce fighting this week as Iraqi troops battle to regain control of the city from the Sunni insurgent group ISIS or the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant. Now, on Thursday, these nurses were forced to board 2 buses and were taken to Mosul. They were reportedly kept at a hospital there. And then on Friday evening, the government confirmed that they had been freed. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Syed Akbaruddin had stated in New Delhi then, hope has triumphed. The nurses moved again, or against their will, are free. Now, while the nurses have been brought back safely, you can clearly see them actually exiting the Kochi International Airport. 39 other Indian construction workers kidnapped 2 weeks ago in Mosul still remain in captivity. Once more, you can clearly see the parents finally relieved and glad that their daughters have come back home safely. For more on this, I'm joined in by my colleague Varghese. Varghese, finally a major relief for all concerned, the nurses, their parents and also the government.
It is, Nolan, and in fact it has been a very important association between the state government as well as that of the central government. The Department of MEA worked along with it. We had also the NSA working along with it, and it seems that all the goodwill that India has in that particular region, especially in the Middle East, has been utilized. In fact, the reports have been saying that even Turkish officials who were successful in fact releasing 9 Lebanese citizens last year from gunmen were in fact roped in to ensure that these people were they could contact the militants of ISIS, as well as contacts in Saudi Arabia, Syria were also used to in fact make sure that these 46 nurses were shifted from Tikrit to Kurdistan and at the Erbil airport. Now, what we know is that they were taken by buses from the Tikrit area, from this particular hospital that they were working in. They were moved to this border checkpoint in the Kurdistan autonomous region, and from there they were handed over to the Kurdish officials. The Kurdish officials in turn handed them over to the Indian officials, and from the Indian officials later arranged a special chartered flight of Air India, and this chartered flight came to Erbil, which is under Turkish control, and from there it was taken the flight from Erbil moved on to Mumbai, and from Mumbai to Cochin. Now, there is a lot of relief. There was in fact a welcoming party. The Chief Minister of the state himself, and as well as MPs and MLAs from the Kerala Assembly, as well from representing Kerala and the Lok Sabha, were there at the place. A hero's welcome was given to these nurses. In fact, a separate counter was set up, and in this counter the customs officers ensured that they had a hassle-free move from this place, Nolan.
Right, now Varghese, also can we see the Kerala Chief Minister coming out of all this smelling of roses, especially in the state?
Well, the Kerala Chief Minister seems to have got a feather in his cap with regards to this, especially with the crisis that was unfolding, and he was in fact in constant touch with the MEA as well as the nurses in that region. If you remember, Nolan, earlier the nurses were given an option to move out of the place, but later they had stayed back saying that the ISIS had promised that payment. Now, most of these people would have done their nursing courses after taking bank loans, so there is a lot of bank loans that have to be repaid. So that is why they go to such dangerous locations and they go for work, and most of these nurses were paid between 700 USDs to 1000 USD. So it's quite an amount that they were earning in those places. Now, it is only after the fighting got intense, after the Iraqi government forces started to counter-attack and go on a counter-offensive, and the fighting became intensive, did they know the intensity of the kind of conflict area they were in. And from there, what we know is that they have in fact contacted the government officials as well as their families way back in Kerala, especially in the central Travancore belt, and they have in fact spoken to them and apprised them of the condition that they are in. So we are looking at a situation where they had to, the parents as well as the family members were putting pressure on their legislators as well as the government to ensure the safe return of these people. But now it seems that the entire operation has paid off, and the goodwill that India has in the Levant has been in fact used to our advantage, Nolan.
Now, this is also being seen as a major diplomatic win for the Modi government.
It is a very important crisis that the Modi government has been able to counter partially. But what we know is that there are around 10,000 Indians working in that troubled country. The 46 nurses is only one group. 36 construction workers from Punjab, they are still under captivity by the ISIS. Now, how things are working on that front is something that we need to look at. There are reports that from the MEA, especially from the spokesperson Akbaruddin, that they are in fact in touch with them. They are in fact trying to ensure that these 36 construction workers from Punjab and Bihar are also taken from their captivity and moved to India, just like these nurses have come in. So it is one success story, but there is a lot to do in fact on the ground. Most of the Indians are actually leaving. The government has been organizing flights, Air India flights to those troubled areas, but within the structure where ISIS controls is something that we do not have exact knowledge of how many Indians are in fact trapped in those places. Now, this 46 nurses, because they were in constant touch with their family members, we came to know about them, their existence as well as their plight. But there are other groups like this, especially the construction workers, and there are other groups also who are in fact caught in the crossfire. We do not have much information with regards to them, and the government is also groping in the dark with regards to this, Nolan.
Right, Varghese, thank you very much for all those details. Now, this is being seen as a major diplomatic achievement for the Narendra Modi government. The deal was struck with the ISIS through intermediaries. It is believed that help from friendly countries in the region, particularly Saudi Arabia and Turkey, helped salvage the situation. In fact, after reaching Kochi and coming out of the Kochi International Airport, one of the nurses spoke to the media, and this is what she had to say.
Sir, and our Indian ambassador, Mr. Ajay Kumar sir, is very helpful us. He is very responsible and a sincere person. Thank you for
the people who were there who were trapped. You came with the mask.
The people, sir, when we are seeing these people, we feel some fear, but they are not afraid, not harmful to us. They are behaving nicely.
Did you, were you fearing, experiencing 2 lines of fear?
We feel tension, but Indian government is done a good job for us. Thank you.
Well, moving on, a heroic attempt to nab a robber went awry in the city. Now, a police constable fell off the 3rd story of a building while leaping from one to another. The incident took place at Bengaluru's Rajgopal